Hey guys, this one's a bit of a strange situation, and honestly, I'm not sure how to feel about it. I want to hear what you think, though. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Lil Wayne's reaction to all of this is over the top? Is he handling the situation the right way, or is he acting like he's entitled to that Super Bowl halftime show spot? Is he just trying to play the game, or is he really that out of the loop about what's going on? If you're a Wayne fan, you know he's always been a bit out of touch with what's happening in the mainstream. He's never really paid attention to what other rappers are doing or what's trending in music. He said before that it distracts him from his own craft, and honestly, that's part of what makes him stand out as an artist. But here's the thing, his lack of attention to what's going on around him, like the whole Kendrick and Drake thing, and even the Super Bowl, might be why he's reacting the way he is. It's almost like he's clueless about the drama that's been unfolding, and that's not exactly helping his image right now. Wayne finally spoke out about Kendrick performing at the halftime show, but his comments didn't really match up with what we've been hearing about how he feels. Some of it even goes against what Wayne himself has said in the past. So what's really going on here? Is Wayne just ignoring everything because he doesn't want to be distracted by the noise, or is he playing the political game to get back in the spotlight? Let's rewind a bit for those who might not know about the beef between Wayne and Kendrick. If you're already familiar, you can skip ahead a minute or two. But here's the background. We all remember the tension between Kendrick and Drake, right? Kendrick dropped that fire track that pretty much put Drake in his place. Wayne, being Drake's mentor, obviously sided with him. He even performed wearing an OVO chain and chanting "They don't like us," showing where his loyalty stood. But there's more to it. Wayne's been vocal about wanting to perform at the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show, especially since Jay-Z has been picking the performer since 2020. With the Super Bowl happening in New Orleans, Wayne probably thought he had a good chance, especially since Jay-Z is a fellow rapper. But then they picked Kendrick instead, and that didn't sit well with Wayne's team. A lot of people, including Nicki Minaj and Birdman, came out blasting Jay-Z, claiming it was all part of a plan to knock Drake down a peg. Some of Wayne's other friends, like Travis Scott, even posted old clips of Wayne to show their support. But Wayne, he probably didn't even realize Kendrick was the one chosen because he's so out of the loop. When Wayne saw the outrage from his camp, he went on Instagram Live, visibly emotional, saying that the Super Bowl performance was stolen from him. He claimed it took him a long time to pick up the pieces of his pride and that he was disappointed by the decision. Then, at his own festival in New Orleans, he repeated that the opportunity had been robbed from him. It felt like he was saying Kendrick didn't deserve the spot, as if it was his by right. Kendrick Lamar's journey to stardom is one that's deeply rooted in his admiration for those who came before him, especially the likes of Lil Wayne. Growing up, Kendrick often looked up to Wayne as a major influence in his musical development, and this admiration has always been clear in Kendrick's work. His respect for Wayne is more than just a surface-level acknowledgement. It's a deep appreciation for the way Wayne's music shaped the hip-hop landscape, especially for young artists like Kendrick, who were coming up in a world dominated by Wayne's reign. In his latest album, Kendrick took a moment to give Wayne a well-deserved shout-out, making it clear just how much the legendary rapper influenced him. This wasn't just a passing comment, it was a sincere tribute to someone who helped define the sound of modern rap and paved the way for artists like Kendrick. Kendrick openly admitted that Wayne's music had a significant impact on his life growing up, and it played a major role in shaping his own style. This kind of tribute wasn't just about paying homage, it was Kendrick's way of acknowledging the influence of someone who helped mold his artistic identity. The timing of this tribute was likely not lost on Wayne, especially given the fact that Kendrick's success had just culminated in his performance at the Super Bowl, a stage that Wayne himself had long dreamed of gracing. Wayne had been in the game for years, earning his place as one of the most influential figures in hip-hop history. He had laid the foundation for the current generation of rappers, and for Kendrick to come up in that shadow was both an honor and a heavy responsibility. Wayne had done the hard work and established the blueprint, but Kendrick was now standing on that very stage that Wayne had once hoped to occupy. It's understandable that this might have stung Wayne a little. Wayne had spent years building his empire, cultivating a reputation as one of the greatest lyricists and performers in hip-hop. So, to see Kendrick, a younger artist he admired, take the stage at the Super Bowl, the very stage that many believed Wayne should have had, was likely a moment of mixed emotions. On one hand, Wayne could appreciate Kendrick's success and the hard work that led him to that moment. But on the other hand, there was probably a sense of pride that made Wayne feel like the stage should have been his. It wasn't about jealousy, but rather about the natural human tendency to want to see your own hard work recognized, especially when you feel that you've paved the way for others. Kendrick's success was a reflection of the groundwork laid by artists like Wayne, but this success wasn't without its challenges. For Kendrick, there was undoubtedly a sense of gratitude and respect for those who came before him, especially Wayne, whose influence was undeniable. But there was also the undeniable reality that Kendrick had earned his place on that Super Bowl stage. His talent, drive, and years of hard work had led him to that moment. It wasn't just a lucky break, it was the result of a career spent honing his craft, challenging the boundaries of hip-hop, and pushing the envelope in terms of both lyricism and performance. For Wayne, this probably felt like a complicated situation. On one hand, he could appreciate Kendrick's success and the tribute Kendrick had given him in his album. On the other hand, there was a part of Wayne that might have felt a little hurt. After all, he had worked tirelessly for years, influencing an entire generation of rappers, only to watch Kendrick, someone he had looked up to, take the stage he had once dreamed of. It wasn't necessarily about competition, it was about pride. Wayne had done everything right in his career, and yet here was Kendrick, whose success seemed to shine brighter in certain moments. This is the kind of situation that could leave anyone feeling conflicted, proud of the person who had succeeded, but also a bit hurt that their own moment never came. However, despite any personal hurt Wayne might have felt, the respect he had for Kendrick was clear. Wayne has always been one to acknowledge talent, even if it's coming from someone younger or someone who could be seen as a competitor. He's not one to shy away from showing love to the artists who came after him, especially when they have earned their place. In fact, Wayne has long been an advocate for the younger generation of rappers, and his acknowledgement of Kendrick's success was just another example of his willingness to support the next wave of talent. At the same time, Kendrick's shout out to Wayne also highlights the humility Kendrick has displayed throughout his career. He could have easily thrown shade at Wayne or tried to distance himself from the older generation, but instead he chose to pay respect to Wayne in a way that was both meaningful and sincere. It was Kendrick's way of saying, "I see you, I recognize the work you've put in, and I know I wouldn't be here without it." This gesture wasn't just about being gracious, it was about Kendrick genuinely understanding the role Wayne played in his own journey. There's also an interesting dynamic at play here, the idea that Kendrick's success was, in a way, built upon the foundation that Wayne had established. It's something that both artists seem to recognize. Wayne set the stage for Kendrick's generation of rappers to thrive. Without Wayne's contributions to the genre, it's possible that Kendrick, as well as many others, would not have had the same opportunities or the same platform to showcase their talent. The shout-out Kendrick gave Wayne was his way of acknowledging that. It was a reminder that while Kendrick may have reached a new height in his career, he wasn't forgetting who paved the way for him. Wayne, on the other hand, might have experienced a little tension in all of this. He's an artist who has put in years of work shaping the sound of hip-hop and influencing countless rappers. Seeing Kendrick, who had been inspired by him, take the Super Bowl stage, something Wayne himself had hoped to achieve, was likely a moment of mixed emotions. While he could appreciate Kendrick's success and acknowledge the tribute Kendrick gave him, it's natural for anyone in Wayne's position to feel a bit of pride and longing. It's the kind of situation where admiration and competition can coexist and where personal pride meets professional respect. Kendrick's shout-out was a gesture of respect, but it also underscored the reality that success in the music industry is not always linear. Sometimes it's about understanding that others have worked just as hard and that the spotlight doesn't always land where it's expected. For Wayne, it might have been a little bittersweet to see someone he had helped inspire take the stage he once dreamed of. But in the end, both Kendrick and Wayne understand that their paths have been intertwined and that there's plenty of room for both of them to continue making an impact on the culture they both love. Wayne's pride, Kendrick's gratitude, and the mutual respect between the two artists highlight the complexities of navigating success in an industry where your idols can quickly become your peers and where achievements are often shared across generations. Despite the initial tension, both artists have found a way to honor each other's contributions to the game, and that's something that fans should celebrate. And then Wayne took to Twitter after he heard about Kendrick's mention, posting some cryptic stuff like, "What did I do? I just mind my business and they come for me." It was a weird way to word things, especially since Kendrick wasn't even coming at him. It was almost like Wayne was looking for a reason to fight. Joe Budden later said that Wayne tried to reach out to Kendrick to make peace, but Kendrick didn't respond, so Wayne supposedly went into the studio and recorded a diss track. Maybe he was trying to step up for Drake, or maybe he just felt personally offended that Kendrick got the Super Bowl spot instead of him. Either way, Wayne's response has definitely raised some eyebrows. So what do you think? Is Wayne overreacting? Is this a case of him just being out of the loop? Or do you think there's something more to this situation that we haven't seen yet? Let me know your thoughts below. So here's the deal. There's been a lot of talk about Lil Wayne not getting the Super Bowl halftime show this year. And honestly, it seems like some people around him might have pumped him up into thinking Kendrick Lamar stole the opportunity from him. After all, there was some talk about Kendrick dissing Wayne on his album, but whatever the reason, it was clear Wayne wasn't happy. He was ready to go at Kendrick, but today he's singing a different tune. In a recent interview with Bayless, Skip asked Wayne straight up why he thinks he didn't get picked for the halftime show. Wayne had two reasons for not being chosen, one that makes sense professionally and one that's more personal. On the professional side, Wayne said the decision is way out of his hands. And honestly, that's probably true. It's probably out of Jay-Z's hands too. There's been a lot of debate over how much influence Jay has over who performs at the Super Bowl, but ultimately the NFL's got to pick someone who fits with the huge, diverse audience watching. Think about it, over 100 million people watching the show with families and kids tuning in. So picking someone like Wayne, who hasn't had a big hit in years, just doesn't make sense. It's not personal, it's business. Wayne even admits it. Choosing Kendrick for 2024 makes more sense than choosing him. But then Wayne gets more personal. He says that on a personal level, he doesn't feel like he's done enough lately to deserve that Super Bowl spot. Before Kendrick was even announced, Wayne was talking about how much he wanted that opportunity. He was determined to work so hard that the decision makers couldn't deny him. But let's be real, Wayne's been quiet on dropping the Carter VI, and his last big hit was back in 2018. So did he really do everything he could to make himself the obvious choice? Wayne doesn't think so, and honestly, I don't think so either. So when Skip asks if politics played a role, Wayne agrees. He says there are things outside his control that made the decision what it is. But here's where it gets a little confusing. If Wayne really feels like the Super Bowl opportunity was taken from him, why is he talking about politics? What higher-ups is he blaming for not choosing him over Kendrick? Is it because his music isn't family-friendly enough? Or maybe Kendrick's more recent music fits better with the Super Bowl audience? It's a little hard to understand. Wayne was also asked if he's feeling any better about it now compared to when he first heard the news. His answer, not really, it still hurts, but he's accepted it and is moving on. Honestly, though, it feels a little weird. There have been rumors that the NFL asked Drake to perform multiple times, but he turned it down. When Wayne was at his peak, around 2007 to 2008, he probably wouldn't have even cared about not getting the Super Bowl gig, especially when it was in New Orleans. Back then, he would have been the perfect choice. So it's strange that now, with Kendrick getting the show, Wayne's feeling upset, but at least he's facing the facts and moving forward, even if it's still tough for him. Lil Wayne recently got real about why he hasn't performed at the Super Bowl yet, and let's just say he's not sitting around waiting for things to be handed to him. He knows he has to earn that stage, and he's not expecting it just because it's in his hometown or because he's been talking about it for years. What really caught my attention is when he said he wants to get to the point where he's undeniable, and that shows how serious he is about leveling up. And honestly, if he's going to reach that point, he has to bring his best music. If you've been following Wayne for the past few years, you know he's still got it. His features have been fire and his flow is sharp as ever. But if we're talking about his solo projects, there's been something missing. Albums like Funeral or The Fix Before the Six show that the magic from his earlier hits just isn't there. He's not dropping the iconic tracks we used to hear like a Millie or Lollipop, and let's face it, that's why he hasn't had a big hit in over 6 years. The songs just haven't been as inspiring or memorable. Wayne knows this, and that's why he's hoping when he says he wants to be undeniable, it means he's ready to deliver better solo music. With the Carter VI coming soon, it's a big deal. If there's ever been an album where Wayne needs to bring his A game, it's this one. The pressure is on, and he's ready to take it head on. Now, here's where things get interesting. Skip Bayless, the sports commentator, asks Wayne about Kendrick Lamar's lyrics on Whack Do Mural, where he mentions Wayne. At first, Wayne looks confused when Skip reads the line. He genuinely seems surprised, like, wait, Kendrick mentioned me, but just a couple weeks ago, Wayne had tweeted a cryptic message saying, "Don't wake the demon up," which seemed like a response to those lyrics. So what's going on here? Was Wayne acting like he knew about the lyrics, or did he just hear about them from someone on his team? Wayne admits that he didn't actually hear the lyrics himself. It's possible someone from his camp told him about them, which sparked that tweet. Honestly, it sounds like Wayne was just reacting to secondhand info. That's something that can easily happen when you're busy with your own world and not fully up to speed on everything. But here's the twist: after all that confusion, Wayne says he's actually a big fan of Kendrick's music. He doesn't think Kendrick meant any harm by the lyrics. In fact, Wayne gets it. Kendrick, being a fan, understands how much the Super Bowl halftime show meant to Wayne. Kendrick didn't get the chance to perform, and Wayne respects that. It's not about a rivalry, it's about the hustle, the respect between two artists who both worked hard to get where they are. And here's the part that might surprise people: Wayne actually spoke to Kendrick directly about it. He congratulated Kendrick and told him, "You better kill it at the Super Bowl," so all that drama people thought was brewing, it might have been overblown. Wayne wasn't mad at Kendrick at all. As for Skip, well, it's clear he was just trying to understand the situation. He didn't seem like he was trying to stir up drama, just asking questions from a more concerned friend perspective, especially since Skip isn't really plugged into the hip-hop world. His questions might have sounded a little off, but it's clear he was just trying to get to the bottom of it, not make things worse. Finally, Skip asks if Kendrick ever explained his lyrics to Wayne, and Wayne says no, but he's cool with it. He doesn't feel like Kendrick owes him an explanation. The whole thing seems a bit confusing, but at the end of the day, Wayne isn't holding on to any hard feelings. He respects Kendrick and understands that there's no bad blood here. The internet might have blown it up, but Wayne's clear he's not about to let rumors dictate how he feels. So Wayne's been talking about those Kendrick lyrics that had everyone talking, and here's what he's saying: Kendrick never explained the lines to him, but Wayne gets that there's no bad energy behind them. He's hearing them for the first time right now, but Wayne says he understands where Kendrick's coming from. He thinks Kendrick was just saying that his hard work got him to the Super Bowl stage, and he's not trying to diss Wayne in any way. The "let me down" part, Wayne thinks, is just Kendrick being frustrated about not performing at the Super Bowl himself. It's not about letting Wayne down. After Skip tries to break down Kendrick's lyrics, he starts making some assumptions about what Kendrick meant, especially about the Super Bowl performance. Skip believes Kendrick must have been aware that Lil Wayne deserved that stage too, and that perhaps Kendrick was trying to acknowledge it. He's also pointing out how Wayne should have been the one performing at that moment, considering his legacy in the game. Skip's analysis, however, doesn't capture the full emotional depth of the situation. What's really notable here is how Wayne reacts when he discusses Kendrick's intentions. He emphasizes that Kendrick showed him sympathy even though Wayne doesn't need or expect any. In fact, Wayne's the first to admit he doesn't need anyone to feel sorry for him. He's been around long enough and he's earned his place in hip-hop. But what stands out is that Kendrick took the time to reach out and make sure there was no bad energy between them. When Kendrick made his move on that Super Bowl stage, it wasn't meant to take anything from Wayne. Kendrick's effort wasn't about overshadowing anyone but himself, it was about celebrating his own journey. Kendrick reached out to Wayne to clarify this, letting him know that he never intended to disrespect him in any way, especially since Wayne wasn't able to perform in his own hometown. Kendrick's apology was genuine and the gesture carried weight. It showed that Kendrick wasn't just apologizing for taking a coveted spot at the Super Bowl stage, but was also expressing his understanding of the emotional significance of the moment for Wayne. For Wayne, not being able to perform at what was essentially his home stage was a painful reality, one that Kendrick acknowledged. This wasn't a small issue, it was about recognizing how hard Wayne had worked to get to where he is and how meaningful it would have been for him to take the stage in New Orleans. Kendrick's words were not just about giving sympathy but about truly understanding the complexities of the situation. He apologized not because he felt like he had to, but because he genuinely understood how Wayne might have felt. Kendrick wasn't dismissing the hard work Wayne had put into his career, nor was he ignoring the fact that Wayne had been a pioneer in the hip-hop industry. He knew that in many ways Wayne had laid the groundwork for many artists, including Kendrick. So, Kendrick's apology was about more than just the Super Bowl, it was about recognizing the history and the respect that had to be paid to Wayne's legacy. At the same time, Kendrick didn't back down from his own achievements. He worked hard to get to that moment and his success was his own to celebrate, but that didn't mean he wasn't aware of the sacrifices that others had made before him. In his apology, Kendrick made it clear that while he had worked hard to earn his place on that stage, he never intended for it to come at the expense of someone like Wayne. That balance of recognizing one's own hard work while also honoring the work of those who came before you is something that Kendrick's apology conveyed well. It wasn't just about saying sorry, it was about understanding the emotional stakes at play, especially for someone like Wayne. Wayne, for his part, took all of this in stride. Even though Kendrick's apology was thoughtful, Wayne didn't make it into a big deal. He could have used the moment to dive into any lingering frustrations or to paint Kendrick as someone who had wronged him. But he didn't. Instead, Wayne acknowledged that there was no bad blood between them. He understood what Kendrick was trying to say, and he accepted it with grace. Wayne knew that Kendrick wasn't trying to hurt him, he was simply doing what he felt was right for his own career and legacy. The real takeaway here is that Wayne was secure enough in his own place in hip-hop to not get caught up in petty drama. He didn't need Kendrick's sympathy, but he appreciated it nonetheless. This shows the maturity Wayne has developed over the years. He's been in the game long enough to know that people will sometimes make decisions that don't always align with your own desires or expectations, but that's life, especially in the world of hip-hop, where competition can be fierce and the spotlight is ever-changing. What's interesting here is that Kendrick's gesture also highlights an important aspect of their relationship: mutual respect. While Wayne didn't need anyone to feel sorry for him, it's clear that he also respects Kendrick for not shying away from the truth. Kendrick could have just ignored the situation and moved forward, but he didn't. He faced it head-on, recognizing the emotional weight of what was at stake. That's a level of emotional maturity that not every artist possesses, especially in the cutthroat world of rap, where egos can often get in the way of genuine connection. In the end, what this situation really shows is that Kendrick and Wayne are both secure in their careers and their legacies. They don't need to compete or undermine each other to succeed. Wayne, having been in the game for so long, understands the pressures that come with being in the spotlight, and Kendrick, as a rising star, knows that he stands on the shoulders of those who came before him. They are both incredibly talented artists in their own right, and they each have their own lane. Kendrick may have earned the Super Bowl performance, but Wayne earned his place as one of the greatest of all time. What's even more telling is that Wayne confirmed that everything between him and Kendrick was good. There was no animosity, no lingering frustration, just two artists who understood each other's journey and respected the work that each had put in. Wayne even went as far as to tell Kendrick that he better kill it at the Super Bowl, a statement that not only supported Kendrick but also showed that Wayne wasn't bitter about missing out on the opportunity himself.
Yeah.
That's an incredibly mature way to handle things. He wasn't angry, he wasn't resentful, he was simply acknowledging Kendrick's moment while showing him the respect he deserved. All of this speaks to the kind of relationship they've built over the years. It's a relationship based on mutual respect, understanding, and the realization that in the world of hip-hop, there's enough space for everyone to shine. Whether they agree or not on every issue, there's no doubt that Wayne and Kendrick will continue to support each other and their careers will only continue to grow as a result. What's even better is that Wayne confirmed there's no beef between him and Kendrick. Despite what people may have thought, everything's cool between them. In fact, Wayne even told Kendrick to kill it at the Super Bowl, and he believes Kendrick will absolutely crush it. Then, when asked if Wayne might join Kendrick on stage, he gives a really clever answer. Instead of saying, "I can't because of my situation with Drake," Wayne just says, "I won't even be in the country." It's a smooth way of avoiding any drama while still showing Kendrick respect. But here's the thing that has me wondering. A few weeks ago, Wayne sounded really upset when that album came out. So why is he now saying he never even heard the lyrics before? Was there some confusion or bad info going around? Maybe someone on his team fed him the wrong details and that's why he reacted the way he did on Twitter. But now that he's heard the lyrics for himself, Wayne is clear that Kendrick didn't mean anything negative. So what do you all think? I'm curious to know how you feel about this whole situation, especially now that Wayne and Kendrick are on good terms. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it.